Peter was our third son, and he was born 7 weeks prematurely. I remember being in a small room, having had some sort of medication to induce the labour, and being told you have to stay lying down. And I was very, very uncomfortable, but I did what I was told because I'm good at that. And then a midwife suddenly appeared and she said, "You've got to be operated on now." I think at that stage I broke down and cried, and she said, "Oh, for goodness sake, look what the doctors left me with." A bit later on, I came round. Peter was in special care baby unit, and the doctor who had delivered him came to see me and shook his head. The opinion initially was that Peter's very delayed development was just because he was 7 weeks premature. He developed osteomyelitis, which is a bone infection, and was back in hospital for 6 weeks, had to have intravenous antibiotics. And I can remember going into the hospital and hearing him screaming as they were trying to find yet another vein to put these antibiotics in. It felt the only thing I could do for him at the time was just to keep expressing some breast milk, taking it in every day, holding him when I was allowed to. And that went on for quite a while. When Peter came home, it was quite obvious he was not developing as he should, and he started fitting. And the doctor said, "I think you need to go to hospital, but you've got an appointment coming up soon. Mention it when you go." He should have said straight away, alarm bells. Peter had to go back into hospital, and we had a brain scan which showed there was an atrophying of the brain, which would mean special needs, special school, and apparently special parents. When Peter did go to school, the headmistress had a big sign on her door saying, "Special children are given to special parents." And I thought, no pressure then. At 2 years old, he was talking quite coherently, but he couldn't sit up. At this stage, no one had mentioned exactly what the problem was. But when we went to see this lovely doctor at Cheney Walk, he started talking about cerebral palsy. And I thought, well, no one's ever said this before. Friends and neighbours came in and we started doing exercises, and I had some wonderful support at that time. They said if Peter can learn to walk unaided by 5 years old, then he'll walk. If he hasn't managed it by then, it's too difficult. Despite all our efforts, he didn't. I can remember the physiotherapist slapping Peter's legs as he stood up against a wall, trying to get him to stand up. I remember feeling incredibly distressed about that. He enjoyed school. Later on, he went away to a weekly boarding school, which was torture for me. But he did settle there. His physical disabilities meant he couldn't walk, and he had very impaired manual skills. He had to have some operations on his legs and on his hips. Each time Peter thought he was going to be able to walk after these operations. I don't know who had said that to him. And his second operation, we had to stay in hospital for 3 months. It's got to be just about the worst time, I think, in my life, because he was so angry and I was angry too. The nursing staff were angels. Peter went to a college in Hampshire and he got his first powered wheelchair. He then went to a centre for performing arts. He literally found his voice, singing, drama, public speaking. There were a lot of innate skills that were just there, and the college gave him the confidence to use those skills and to become a very confident person, to be the person that he is. We've had huge support from family, from friends, from a lot of medical people and a lot of teachers. There are 3 people in the relationship: the disabled person, the parents or carers, and the professionals. I think it's important for professionals to realise that there's no way you should ever assume that either a parent or a child or a young person who has a disability actually really gets what it's all about. I would have loved to have had someone sit down with me and say, look, this is what the road is like. I have learned so much from Peter, and he's hugely loved by everyone who knows him, really.